What's going on, everybody? How the heck are you feeling? 5 things that have came to surface in 2020. 5 lessons, 5 perspectives, 5 insights, 5 bullet points, 5 things that have made themselves known in 2020 to me and to maybe all of us. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this. I hope that, you can let me know if any of these resonate with you. I'd like to connect. That's what I'm here for. So let's get it. Let's get it. First thing that I personally have learned, in case you were wondering, celebrities and icons and athletes and people of the like are not as essential as I thought, or we might have thought. I miss baseball. I miss going to baseball games, and I like to go to movies sometimes, but when things go down and there's an emergency, say there was an emergency, or something happens in the world, and you really like kind of retreat, and you say, okay, what's necessary, what's essential, and food, shelter, family, water. I think that's about it, right? I mean, what we really need to survive is, we don't need the Tonight Show. We don't need Hollywood. We don't need, a lot of these things have just been extras. A lot of these things have just been extras. We've had extra time on our hands. We've had extra money to spend. We've had this and that. But during this time, it's kind of really showing, it's kind of making us retreat back and see, okay, assess what's really important, what's really necessary. And, watching the Ellen show, I'm sorry, Ellen, but it's not really high on my list. Our health. One thing that I think we've all learned this year is to maybe care more about our health, period. And there's a quote somewhere out there. A person with their health has many different dreams, but a person without their health has one dream. And I bet you can guess what that one dream is. It's probably to be healthy, right? So if you have your health, you got everything. It's hard to enjoy life. It's impossible to enjoy life when you're sick, when you're, I wouldn't say when you're disabled, but when you're sick, when you got a crazy disease or an illness. If your body is functioning optimally, then that's going to increase your experience of life that much more. You're going to be able to enjoy life experience because what do? You got to use your body to live life. So I think that this year has really been a good cause for us to slow down and really look at what is important. Really look at how are we living? How have we been living? One thing that I've learned through this whole scenario is that a lot of what goes on with our health is really within our hands. And I've known this, but it's just something that is coming to me again and again, I guess, is just the more that we neglect our own responsibility, the more that we, you know, neglect our own participation, when we fail to acknowledge the fact that our lifestyle, our diet choice, our exercise or lack of, when we fail to acknowledge that we truly have our health in our hands, you know, there's a lot of things maybe that are outside of it, but for the most part, man, do you stretch? Do you sleep well? Do you make sure to get good sleep? Do you exercise regularly? Are you eating a lot of, you know, healthy, real, whole foods? And you know what that is. We know what, a lot of times and most times, we know what's right for us. We know what we need to do. We just don't do it for whatever reason. So, you know, if you're going to sit around and wait for some doctor or some scientist or whatever these people do to come save you with a pill or a shot or a, you know, fill in the blank miracle cure, there's no miracle cure for your failure to take responsibility for your life and your health. So if there's one thing that we're being forced to look at, it's how have you been participating in your own well-being? Because in my personal experience and what I know, the less that we can depend on the doctors, the better. The less that we can depend on pharmaceutical drugs, the better. And, you know, that's up to you to learn about and read and research, but I feel that nature truly does have a lot of the answers, man. Plants and herbs and whatever, you know. I'm not an expert, but, you know, this is something I'm interested in. And I just think that we have a lot more say in our health than, you know, we might realize. And it truly is expensive, you know. It's more expensive than fast food to go buy foods that are actually healthy. But what's more worth it than your health, right? I mean, no brainer, man. You know, you can get the quick, easy fix, but you're gonna end up paying later when you're in the hospital with, you know, your heart disease and your diabetes and all these different things. So I think that we know fast food is bad. I think that we know excessive drinking and, you know, whatever is bad. But, you know, we really got to, like, do what we know is right and really follow that. And another thing that that's kind of came up in 2020 is just, I think we're collectively, all of us are being shown and being kind of forced to see the fact that life is uncertain. Life has always been uncertain. Life most likely will always be uncertain. And as humans, I think that we like to try to ensure our survival and ensure our survival in the future. And, you know, we can never truly fully do that. And so if anything, like, this whole year and this whole situation, you know, pandemic, has been to show us that, you know, we're not as in control of this world and our lives as we thought. You make your plans, but you hear God laughing because so many of us had things we wanted to do. Everyone did. Everyone had plans. Everyone had projects or whatever. People wanted to do things. People had plans. People had stuff, you know, mapped out. And what happened is this big giant curveball came in and we had no say in it. We're all together in that. We're all together in the fact that we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and we never have. We never have known that the future would be certain. we never have been guaranteed that next moment you will still be alive, or that you will see tomorrow. Life is never certain, and we've had the illusion of certainty, maybe, you know, these last years, like these ages or whatever, like the past, every time until now in our civilization, in this era, we've always kind of had the illusion that things would continue on as they have, but there's really no reason to think that they would, or that they will. You know, we've just been under that illusion that things would go on the way, you know, at least continue on a similar path because they had. But that's the thing. Every day is a new day. We don't know what's coming. And I think this has really shaken up a lot of people's feeling that they were in control of their life. And that's probably a good thing. It's probably a good, positive thing to realize that, like, you are a passenger here. As much as you want to make things happen and steer the ship and be in charge, sometimes you got to take a back seat. There's a lot more going on in this world than just humanity. You know, there's a whole sets of systems and other species, and, you know, the planetary alignment, like just weather. Like, there's so much stuff, more stuff going on in this world than just what your ego wants, you know? And so I think that this has been a blessing in the sense that it's really had forced us to see what is really important in my life. And, you know, you might have done whatever you wanted with this time. You might have spent it twiddling your fingers playing Xbox 28 hours a day, you know, or whatever. Nothing's wrong with that, I guess, you know, but this has been a real chance for people to step back and assess. And so that's the thing. We all have the same 24 hours, but what are we going to do with it in life? That's the thing that really kind of defines your life at the end. You have time. What are you going to do with the time that you're afforded, you know? But anyway, getting a little off topic there. So basically, celebrities are non-essential in 2020, I've realized. Life has always been uncertain. The other one, I don't remember what I said, but two more. One is food, right? So when the stores were selling out of food and everyone was kind of getting anxious, because when we're in fear, we want to kind of squeeze and, you know, take things and, you know, and make sure that we're going to be safe. So when that happened, you know, all the stores were starting to get cleaned out of food, and noodles were gone, you know, whatever else, food is just gone that we're used to just being able to have whenever we want. And so this has made me think that, you know, 100% of the food that I consume personally is grown by someone else and is grown somewhere else. And, you know, me and you, if you're like me, we play little to no, absolutely no role in the production of our own food. And so what does this do? This leaves us completely dependent upon, you know, systems that are out of our control. You know, we're depending on the food truck to arrive on time for us to be able to get food. We're depending on that farmer to grow the crops, you know. And there's so many things and factors that are out of our hands. You know, what if those crops burn down? Like in California, they're catching on fire. What if, whatever, there's a storm, there's, you know, just whatever, man. Our food system is completely fragile, and we are completely dependent upon these fragile systems to sustain our existence. Now, that's pretty wild. So this has made me think and really realize the more that I can, well, somehow provide for myself, and the more that we can do that, provide for ourselves, then the better off we will be. You know, my buddy told me that, and it's like, it's true. the more dependent we are, the more we rely on someone else to create our food and sustain our existence, the less free that we are. And that's kind of scary. You know, it's kind of scary to know that someone else needs to take care of us, especially in a time of crisis when things go south. It's like, that's a scary thing. You know, when people are grabbing way more than they need, then there might not be enough for me. So it's making me think, like, I need to start a garden. I need to, you know, figure something out. So, I mean, I don't even know if a garden would be enough, but it's like, you got to do something, right? And so it's just made me think, you know, like, how much of our lives are just dependent on these crazy systems that can go down at any time. You know, I think it's painfully aware that we can do more for ourselves than we are. You know, we've kind of been able to take a back seat and let other people take care of us while we work at our other jobs and spend time doing whatever. But maybe this is just a wake-up call to show us, like, how we've been living. You know, we've been putting our time into all these other things that may not have truly served us, and may not really have been that important, you know. And the very last thing that, you know, that it just comes to me is, we're also worried about safety. We're also worried about living. But just to survive, just to avoid dying, doesn't mean that you're living. So you got to ask yourself, what does it mean to be living? Just at what point do you just got to say F it and let's live? Because no matter what, this is all going to end sometime. So how do you want to spend the rest of your life here? Life isn't safe. That's my fifth reason, or the fifth thing that I've learned. Life is not safe. And no matter what amount of padding or bubble wrap or armor or whatever that you have, life itself inherently comes with a return ticket, meaning that this isn't forever. So do you want to choose to live in fear? And how much of your life and how bad do you want to feel safe? Because safety is just an illusion. You're never safe completely. I mean, I'm in my house right now, the door's locked, but I could have a heart attack. A refrigerator could come falling out of the sky and land on me, you know. An asteroid could hit, or whatever, you know. You're never safe. So in the name of safety, if you want to change everything around and rearrange the entire existence just to protect yourself from a virus, is that really what you want to do? So it's dangerous freedom or peaceful slavery. Do you want to be a slave to your fear and, you know, all these measures that apparently make you safe? Because do any of the precautions we're taking truly actually leave us any safer or healthier? I don't know. You know, I don't know if staying inside is actually better for you when you're in here with your Wi-Fi and your whatever, man. You're not outside getting the fresh air. And, you know, from what I understand, like, bacteria and germs are good for you to help, you know, to help your body maintain an immune system, and just in a little, like, army of good bacteria to fight off the bad ones. If you don't expose yourself to germs and bacteria, etc., then you might be actually setting yourself up for failure. So life isn't safe, and this is what I'm learning. This is something that I feel is true, is we're never really safe, man. And that's not a cause for fear. That is a cause to really look at the way you're living and think like, well, no matter what happens, tomorrow's not guaranteed. And you know, this body's decaying all the time. We're all heading back home where we came from. So how do you want to spend your life here? Do you want to spend it in fear and limited and shrunken down and hiding all the time, biting your nails? Or do you want to just trust in life and say, man, when it's my time, but I want to live fully. And to live fully means to not cower in fear and hide. Because life isn't safe. And if you want to live freely and fully, you know, there's always dangers to living, but that's what it is to be alive. Do you want to stay in your house for your whole life and just hide from life? To me, that's not living. So how do you want to spend your time here is really the question. Because there's plenty of dangers out there, no matter what it is. And this one's no different. So anyways, guys, that's the 5 things that I have learned and we have learned in 2020 so far. And it's September now, so there's probably still some more learning to come. But it's been quite a bit. It's been quite a lot. And feel free to let me know if there's anything that you can add, you know? I would love to hear back from you guys, get some feedback. So, namaste. Sending you blessings. Thanks for being here. See you next time.